Hey everybody, this is Michael with Asymmetrical Preparedness. So this video is, what do we do if we're at work when SHTF happens? WROL, bad event, something big happens. What do we do? We got to get home to our families, stuff like that. So this question comes from a subscriber from my video about requesting, what do you guys want to hear about? Topics. This came from Donger Operator, Donger Operator, Donger Operator. He is recently, I think, I don't know how recently, but here in the United States, from Australia, and he was in the Australian military. Sounds like a really good dude. So this is answering his question and or idea. First off, SHTF, stuff hitting the fan, WROL without rule of law, big event, collapse, whatever it is. There are so many different things that could entail. So there's no way I could cover all the topics. So I'm just going to cover like some general ideas, some general thoughts. Because it could be everything from a natural disaster to a war to a chemical biological attack to, there's so many different things. Financial collapse could happen, but a lot of these things, most of them aren't immediate. There are some that are immediate, meaning natural disaster. If we had a massive earthquake here, or a massive volcano goes off here or something like that, or say, like a nuclear attack or a foreign invasion. Some things are immediate. Some things take a little bit of time to percolate, at least a day, a couple days over, space of a little bit of time. It's all, we don't all know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. But with that said, if you're at work, and I'll kind of use from my perspective, obviously, because I don't know your perspective, or I'll use a generic scenario. Say you're at work in town, city, big city, town, I don't know, and an event happens where, see, this is complicated because, is it an event like, if there's a massive earthquake here that maybe it would create big, huge, massive, like tear open all the roads or something like that, or a volcano and the dust would clog all the engine intakes and stuff like that. So you may or may not have a vehicle. You may have a vehicle, or you may be on foot. So the best thing overall, generally to do, to be prepared for any scenario, is first off have an EDC. That's your everyday carry. Have on you things that you're going to need that it will at least enable you to make it easier for you to get home. Get home EDC type things. I'm not talking long term. I'm not talking about, I'm from work, I'm going to have to live random places for weeks. Now, if you are working away from home, say like on travel or something like that, it may be a totally different situation. You may even be in another country when it happens. Oh man, there's a lot of scenarios where, the level of difficulty can rise exponentially based on the situation you're in. But if you have an EDC, like a firearm, a handgun, if you're able to, a pocket knife, folding knife, some cordage, meaning like 550 cord, some, small rope, stuff like that. Obviously, you're not going to have a big old rope in your pocket or something like that. That's why part of your EDC probably needs to be a backpack or a sling bag or whatever suits your needs. A lighter. I like lighters wrapped in duct tape because then you have some duct tape too if you need it. And no, I'm not saying you're going to sit there and, cook and prepare meals. but lighters have a lot of different uses. What else are you going to need? And this is so situational dependent also on your area of operations, where you are living in the desert, or you're living in the jungle, or you're living in the mountains, or if you're living in the plains. You know, there's a lot of different things. So there's some basic things though, like tourniquet, an IFAC, individual first aid kit. I'm not really going to go into what's all in that, because I've talked about that in other videos, and there's a lot of videos, good videos out there about tourniquets. There's also good videos out there. Watch other channels, good videos about EDC. What do people EDC? People carry different things based on their needs and their skill sets. I don't need a ton of stuff because I have some decent skills that enable me to get away with less. So, food, you know, a day of food, maybe a couple days of food. You can use emergency rations, MREs, canned goods, although they're heavy. Rations being food that you can just eat without cooking or preparing. So think about that. What can you get away with, or what's pre-prepared, basically. You can throw in a jar of peanut butter if you want, and some bread, or I don't know. a lot of different things you can carry. Water, of course. You need water. And depending on where you are, how much water you need to carry with you, based on the ability to resupply, restock that water, or find more water, get more water, that kind of stuff. And along those lines, water purification, filters, chemical additives, bleach, pool shock, water purification tabs, that kind of stuff. Soy or mini water filters. Maybe a life straw. I don't know. I've heard they're better maybe now. Catered in backpacking filters. Those are some good filters. You're not going to carry a big Berkey around with you, so that's a good one to have at home on the homestead. But it's not an option for being mobile. Let me see. You may want to have it like a spare change of socks. You may want warmer weather clothing, foul weather gear, and this is all like backpack stuff. Obviously, you're not going to carry it in your pockets. A fixed blade knife is a very good option to have in there. Yes, definitely. Maybe even want an e-tool, an entrenching tool, a little foldable shovel, a tarp, a hammock, maybe even a sleeping bag. Depends on your AO, what you want. But if you have all these basic things, I'll stop going to the basic things. Just, it's all situational dependent. You're going to have to learn what works for you on your own. Sorry, I can throw some things out there to help you, but okay, then how are you going to get home? This is why we prep. You need to have routes home, get home routes, as well as having your get home bag, your EDC, stuff like that. Get home routes, and these routes need to be based off of, do I have a vehicle or do I not have a vehicle? Am I on foot or not? And then also, what's the length of time, the period of time, what's the longest time it can take me to get home in a vehicle, based off of traffic, road conditions, the ability. You may only be able to drive part way home. Maybe you work in a rural area and you live in town. So you may have like a reverse situation. It may be harder the last portion of your trip versus the first portion of your trip. If you live in a city or a town, the first portion of your trip is going to be more difficult because you're going to have to deal with traffic and the people and all this kind of stuff. Also on foot, what routes? You need to have these routes planned out. You need to have, it's best to have caches along these routes to and from work in case you got to grab them. Base these off of choke points and areas, built up areas or areas higher threat, areas of, oh yes, if this goes down, I may or may not be able to get through this area, so I need to go through this area, stuff like that. You need to have all this planned out in your head. Also communication with your family, whether it be handheld, or even a backpack ham radio, or FRS, GMRS. you're not really going to be able to use FRS until you're really close. Cell phone, yes, if they work. Comms will be a little more difficult based on what the situation is. So there's a lot to think about. There's a lot to prepare for. But the basics, I would say, is have a good EDC, that stuff in your pockets, on your person at all times. Have a good get-home bag in your vehicle that you can grab and then go. Even if you're on foot, you can't use your vehicle, you can still get to your vehicle, grab it, and go. Or maybe even carry it into your office or your workspace, wherever it is you work. Have a get-home bag. And routes. Plan your routes. Multiple routes. Like I said, with vehicle or on foot. And caches along the way. Those are basically that's the best advice I can give you. Because there are so many different situations. Like I said, I can't throw them all out there. I hope this helps you guys. I hope this answers. It wasn't really a question he was asking. I think he sounds like a person that's pretty well equipped. Donger operator I'm talking about. The guy that posted this, idea. I think it was more of a general, let's talk about this so other people may not have thought about this situation. So thank you, Donger operator, for the idea. I appreciate it. Really want to be interactive with you guys. Make sure I'm meeting your guys' needs, wants, desires, stuff like that. Have a good day and prep a little every day. Prep with a peace of mind out of fear. I love you guys and blessings to you and yours.